Inside Nigeria. Inside Nigeria is a breakfast show where we review some selected headline stories on some newspapers. Of course, we have some array of newspapers on us on our menu today. As you can see, we have Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership, The Punch, The Guardian, Vanguard, THISDAY, The Nation, and Daily Sun. Like we always do on the program, we like to flag off with leadership. And by the way, my name is Winifred Ugbebo, your host on the program. Leadership leads with the story varsity autonomy, fear of high school fees grips parents, students. Varsity autonomy, fear of high school fees grips parents, students. And the riders are government shifting responsibility, commercializing education, stakeholders. Say new fee regime burdensome, no tuition policy deceptive. Also distances serve from fee hike. I will take that again. Varsity autonomy, fear of high school fees grips parents, students. Government shifting responsibility, commercializing education, stakeholders. Say new fee regime burdensome, no tuition policy deceptive. Also distances serve from fee hike. That's the leading story on leadership, and of course there are other stories as well. We have picture story of Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, beneficiary of Renewed Hope cash transfer, Sariki Balagan, and Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Beta Edu, during the launch of the conditional cash transfer to 15 million households at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, yesterday. Beside that, we have Naira forced to lowest 848 Naira per dollar at official market. Aliyu Arabi emerge ICPC Nakon chiefs. Story continues on page 6 of Leadership. No criminal recruited into police in Kano, says Commissioner of Police. Federal government takes war against cervical cancer to 16 states. Above that, we have Ondo Abuja politicians back Ayedatiwa, weaken Akeredolu's influence. Ondo Abuja politicians back Ayedatiwa, weaken Akeredolu's influence. Federal government pays 135 billion naira electricity subsidy to stop tariff hike. That's the business story on the cover. Federal government pays 135 billion naira electricity subsidy to stop tariff hike. And above the masthead, we have Israel-Hamas war. NSCIA calls for ceasefire in Gaza. Salary verification, federal workers stranded in Abuja. That's the leading stories on the cover of Leadership today, Wednesday, 18 October 2023. From the cover page, we move over to the page 3 of the paper where we have our stand. Our stand today is on Ogubanjo, corporate guru, sees his final end. Ogubanjo, corporate guru, sees his final end. And from that, our stand, we move over to the back page of the paper where we have Wednesday column with Aisha Osori. She's writing on cancer is personal and public. October is usually dedicated for cancer awareness and for screening. And she's writing on cancer is personal and public. Find out more as you log on to the website of Leadership newspaper, www.leadership.ng. The Punch newspaper is next on our menu. The Punch is punching with 35,000 wage award. Labour gives governors ultimatum. 61 million Nigerians to get 1 trillion naira. 35,000 wage award. Labour gives governors ultimatum. 61 million Nigerians to get 1 trillion naira. And the riders are ultimatum given by NLC TUC applicable to states. Kano, Gombe, NLC chapters, orders. 15 million households to get 25,000 naira monthly. Program will reduce poverty, says World Bank. And just beneath that, we have 14 injured as 2 BRT vehicles collide in Lagos. 14 injured as 2 BRT vehicles collide in Lagos. And of course, that is the picture story just above that. Free Israeli hostages, France, Turkey urge Hamas. Rest probe abandoned 74 billion naira Kaduna Eastern Road. Bandits kill 9 vigilantes in Bochi ambush. Above the masthead of the Punch, we have Tinubu ministers face first assessment January. Protesters storm National Assembly, oppose EFCC chair's confirmation. Why I want 550 million naira damages for compulsory retirement, SDIG. For more on these headline stories, inside stories, and of course the editorial and back page of the Punch, log on to the website www.thepunch.punchng.com. From the Punch, we have the Nation. The Nation released with Adun, 84 million living in poverty, not acceptable to Tinubu. The Minister of Finance, Adun, says 84 million living in poverty, not acceptable to Tinubu. Will give Nigerians decent work, sustained social protection. 25,000 cash transfer begins. And in quote, I urge Nigerians to key into all the available programs because they are here to help. Beneath that, the picture story where one of them is also the picture on leadership, the cash for the poor, titled picture. We have a same Ejun Akume, the beneficiary of Renewed Hope cash transfer, Gamu, and Dr. Ejun during the launching of the Renewed Hope conditional cash transfer at the presidential villa in Abuja yesterday. Beneath that, we have AFDB, ADF to breach $42 billion financing gap for SMEs. Illegal exportation of gold, other solid minerals gone, says President. Alake will stimulate investments. I hear that it was impeachment on hold after APC's mediation. President appoints henchmen for ICPC, NACON, PTDF. Stories on page 6 of the Nation. We have Senate 6 declaration of emergency on narcotics use. Labour Party tells its federal lawmakers to reject official vehicles. Troops kill bandits, arrest 59 kidnap robbery suspects. Diphtheria vaccine is safe, says Kano Commissioner. These are the leading stories on the Nation this day. And for more on that, log on to the website of the Nation. From the Nation, we move ahead to this day. This day is next on our menu and is leading on the story on subsidy. Federal government subsidy on electricity returns now 135 billion naira in second quarter. Federal government subsidy on electricity returns now 135 billion naira in second quarter. At Dilabu, Nigeria needs about $262 billion investments to meet 30,000 megawatts power generation target by 2030. Babachi, Obi won 2023 presidential polls. Tinubu came distant third. This story continues on page 36 of this day. And of course, the picture caption on this day is quite interesting. It titles "The Women Are Here." Left to right, we have Head of Civil Service Folashade Yemieson, Minister of State for Labor Nkiriku Oyejioka, and Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Doris Anite at the second Federal Executive Council meeting held at the Presidential Villa Abuja on Monday. Indeed, the women are here. From that pictorial, we move ahead where we have US President Biden visits Israel today as hundreds die in Gaza hospital bombings. US President Biden visits Israel today as hundreds die in Gaza hospital bombings. Declare emergency on drugs, narcotics abuse in Nigeria. Senate urges president. Story continues on page 34 of this day. And above the masthead of this day, Shettima strategic partnership between Nigeria and China key to Africa's development. Says Tinubu's foreign policy drive boosting investors' confidence. Media Certification Board to license journalists in Nigeria. Story continues on page 37 on this day. For more on that, log on to the website www.thisdaylive.com. From this day, The Guardian is next on our menu. The Guardian leads with an exclusive story as usual. It says 2023 elections by court order. INEC's credibility sinks as 94% contested post awaits tribunal. 2023 elections by court order. INEC's credibility sinks as 94% contested post awaits tribunal. The story continues on page 6 of The Guardian. Of course, above that, we have a data illustration of the leading story. Wojit report shows states heavily dependent on federal allocation for budgets. Budget report shows states heavily dependent on federal allocation for budgets. Discordant tunes persist over legality of appointing ministers of state. Subsidy, no alternative to local refining capacity. Opera in Senate as Akpabio Ndume face-off gets messier. Tinubu begins 1.125 trillion naira conditional cash transfers to 15 million households. Inflation may deter investors from rights issue as 6 firms raise 22 billion naira. House probes 183.9 billion naira COVID-19 intervention fund. The story continues on page 3 of The Guardian. For more on these headline stories, inside stories, the editorial, and of course the back page, log on to the website of The Guardian, www.guardian.ng. From The Guardian, Daily Sun is next. Daily Sun whisked with the opera at the Senate, the Red Chamber, yesterday. Storm in Senate as Ndume SP Akpabio's rift deepens. Storm in Senate as Ndume Senate President Akpabio's rift deepens. Chief Whip stages walkout to protest Senate President's out of order ruling. Upper Legislative Chamber hurriedly goes into executive session. Story continues on page 6 of Daily Sun, and just above that, beneath, just beside the masthead, we have Obi won presidential election, not Tinubu. SGF Babachilawa. APC his back, says he's peddling gibberish. Story continues on page 27 of Daily Sun. Biden visits Israel today as a Gaza humanitarian crisis worsens to meet Jordan, Palestinian, Egyptian leaders. South Africa Hamas leader hosts talks over aid. Port Harcourt refinery repairs, unrest, spare parts mismatch threaten December target. Port Harcourt refinery repairs, unrest, spare parts mismatch threaten December target. Abia government denies asking northerners at Lokbanta cattle market to leave. Insists there won't be residential section of market. Tension in Bauchi, Imo as government kill 9 vigilantes, deputy registrar. Ojikalu, Northern Group express justice, fairness at Appeal Court. And the second sub-leading story on the cover of Daily Sun today is on 63% of Nigerians living in poverty, Edu. 63% of Nigerians living in poverty, that is Minister of Finance, Edu. President launches cash transfer program for 15 million as palliatives. Tinubu names Aliu Arabi as ICPC NACON chairman. These are the leading stories on the Daily Sun cover today, Wednesday, October 18, 2023. For more on that continuation, log on to the website of Daily Sun, www.sunnynewsonline.com. The last paper on our menu this day is Vanguard. Vanguard also leads with the same opera at Senate yesterday. Fresh trouble in Senate as Akpabio Ndume clash. Fresh trouble in Senate as Akpabio Ndume clash. Ndume kicks against Akpabio's alleged procedural errors, storms out. Senate President convenes closed section to address colleagues. Akpabio bears no ill against colleagues' aid. Senators head to Uyo for retreat today. South Africa may overtake Nigeria as Africa's biggest economy, IMF. Tinubu nominates Musa Aliu as ICPC chairman. Government adopts lawmaker's wife, 2 children in Kwara. Ministers will sign performance bond with Tinubu, Bala Usman. And of course, for sports, we have Messi beats Haaland Mbappe to 8 Ballon d'Or. Congratulations to Messi. From that, we move above the ones on above the masthead. CBN to penalize banks with check processing errors from November 1st. Tinubu flags off cash transfer program for 15 million households. Obi won 2023 presidential poll. Babachi Lawa SSGF. Aftermath of Vanguard special report on pension. Ondo, Osun, Akwa Ibom, Abia commit to clear areas. These are the leading stories on the cover of Vanguard today, Wednesday, October 18, 2023. For more on these continuation, inside stories, and of course, back page and its commentary, log on to the website of Vanguard, www.vanguardngr.com. Our viewers, is where we draw the curtain on today's program, Inside Nigeria, reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. Unfortunately, we don't have our public affairs analyst in the house this morning to share more light on the leading stories. Well, tomorrow is another day. Until I come your way again tomorrow, this here is wishing you a beautiful day. See you then. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Leadership TV for God and country.